Good evening. Welcome to Airfix and Chill. It's Monday, and what a week we've had. We've had some announcements from Airfix, obviously, which we'll probably delve into a little bit more tonight. Atalery has just dropped some stuff off, so I think Ben's been looking at that. So we'll get Ben on and let us know what they're planning. Mini Art have a catalogue out as well, which I've not had a chance to look at. And everyone who wants to be a club member has now received their membership packs. So, and if you want to buy Lightning with a coin, I don't think you can, because I think they sold out within 24 hours from the Airfix site. So, fortunately, I've got mine in my case here. So, I had one. Anyways, good evening. We got John Alec in. Congratulations, John, on reaching 5,000 subscribers.
Amazing. Yeah.
No,
I'm so grateful. Thank you all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done, John.
Thoroughly deserved.
Thoroughly deserved. If you've not watched John Alex's channel, I put him on before I go to bed.
Right.
I do. I listen to John before I go to bed. Yeah, while the wife said got Julie Cooper on, I've got John Alec in my ears. So yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. We've got Jim, we've got Ben, we've got Barry for North Devon, Moonside, Inzan, and Mike. So, after all is said and done, was everybody pretty much pleased with the Airfix releases that they've put out this month?
Yes.
You are?
Yeah, it's like saying,
Extremely. Yeah.
especially with the vintage classic range, which is something I have. But I did note in another video, Moz, that they got the RAF recovery set artwork back to front.
Is it back to front, is it?
It's back to front. If you look at the back of the crane, all the lettering is back to front.
So do you reckon that will be the end of that? Do you reckon there will, now they've put it out there that other people have probably emailed in and said they may swap that back around again?
I don't know. There is another one that's in there. That's the Romans.
Yeah.
That artwork's back to front.
Is it now?
Yeah, well, they've released it twice the right way round.
Yeah.
That's the first time they used the artwork, and the second time was the red box release.
Yes.
All the other releases been back to front. Let's be honest, how many, Biggest Dickus isn't left-handed.
Yes.
Another one they flopped a lot was the First World War tank with HMLS Dragonfly on the front. A load of releases, that was back to front.
Yeah.
And another one was the First World War German infantry. That one has flopped because everyone's left-handed.
Okay. So do you reckon there may be a pattern forming there? Maybe they're just doing that because does it really matter if it's back to front? I suppose on the RAF one it would be.
Yeah, because the lettering is quite pronounced.
Yeah.
Yeah, cosmically speaking, no. But it's I'm left-handed myself, and you just sort of notice these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like say the First World War German infantry, everyone's left-handed.
Yeah.
That's maybe they want you to feel included.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There is actually one when the artwork's the right way round. There is one left-handed person, that's British infantry, right at the back. He's holding his rifle with one hand.
Okay.
But when it's flopped, he's right-handed and everyone else is left.
I presume this is artwork only rather than tooling.
Yeah, this is artwork.
No, all the tooling is correct. Everyone's right-handed.
Yeah. But I do wonder...
Maybe they just decided to change it up like the plastic, They went for some yellow and red, and this time they went, we'll include some lefties. Why not?
Yeah, blue lefties in there. That'd be good. Yeah, just turn the tooling upside down.
Well, turn it inside out.
Inside out, yeah.
Inside out,
yeah.
It's not important. It's just you notice.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I did see that. And like you said, artwork has no bearing on the kit inside, though, unless you collect the boxes. But I was just more, when I did my 3 changes of Airfix video, I did mention in that video that I like to have seen the Vigilante and the hovercraft. And I got 1 out of my 2 wishes. Well, actually 1 out of 3. So I still didn't get a bloody bear cat, but I I think a lot of people would be fine. Going back to that, there was a lot of talk about the club membership box. Now, I think Miss Modler did a video because she's built hers already. So this is the kit pack. Now, if you are rest of the world, you have to buy this separately. So I think you buy the membership, then they give you an add-on to buy this separately, because you have to pay for the shipping's different in cost.
Yeah.
Wait, it's something to do with the shipping.
Yeah.
So if you want to buy it rest of the world, then they give you the option to buy the kit as a separate, but you can't. This kit is available for the rest of the world as well. I know there was some confusion. I spoke to Dale about it. I texted Dale when he came back. He said, "Yep, we'll send it out. It's a bit expensive, but you've got to do it separately to help them with the postage or something or other." So that's the reason why.
A parcel that size to Australia is about £15.
It's not too bad, to be honest. When I think about it, when I bought those rockets from, is it Horizon Models? It was about £35 to get them shipped over to me. When I shipped the space shuttle to, I think it was Dutch Dave. If it's not Dutch Dave, it might have been Dutch Dave or his other mate, because they won it in the Christmas quiz. The postage for me was about £25, I think.
Yeah,
but that week I did a lot of I was boxing all sorts. So I know it's a bummer, but you can always move to England if you want. Postage. I don't think you can bitch slap a model company for the price of their postage, because, like, for America, it's not as if I want to ship something from another country to me. There is no option for me to pay that on receipt. For America now, I've got, the customer gets billed before it gets sent, and it gets collected then sent to America, the monies. That's the difference.
I also think with all things shipping, it's not that the company manufacturing the kit does not set the postal rate, so you can't blame them for having to send something to where you live. So moan at your version of Royal Mail, whatever that happens to be.
Exactly. And this is why I think I'm going to say it. Trump did a good thing with removing the postage to China, because I think that's right. We somehow, our postage services, is it the word substitute, or we do something? Subsidize the postage. That's why on eBay you could get an iPhone case for £4 free delivery, because we were paying the postage to us. But if it came and it was wrong and I had to send it back, they wanted £15 or something to send it back. You know what I mean? It never made sense. So I've noticed that Chinese, on eBay, has gone way down. You don't see it so much now because we don't subsidize the postage. I understand this is the prototype, but beggars can't be choosers. I understand that. And it does. I watched Miss Modler's video, and all the years we've been saying, "Oh, why don't you put in a 3D part?" And they've gone and done it. They've gone and there's a download in here, so you can download and print your own 3D tank in here. And I thought we've said before, why don't Airfix do this? And for the first time, I think this is the first time ever, they give you a 3D part. To do it. What do you mean? You can't download it. You can't actually download the 3D part. What do you mean, Miss Modler? I thought it said it's not on the site. Oh, it's not on the site yet. But I just thought it was interesting that this is the first time Airfix have done something like this. So, which is interesting. So they may be going in a different direction. What's the point for?
I was just
turned up.
letting
Somebody was
everybody who
hardy.
couldn't speak for themselves that Luke is here. He
I
has
am
arrived.
here. I am
Brilliant,
for the
Luke.
first time ever, I think fashionably late.
Fashionably late.
Fashionably late, but I was being interviewed by my PR team, so that's why
Ah.
Get you.
no.
God, that's good.
Dug out
Yeah.
my homework.
That's right. At least you're here, mate. That's good.
Mm.
So you can download the 3D part. It says
Just
here
not
somewhere
yet,
you can
by
download
the
the
sound of
3D
it.
file. It should be in the members area. So yeah.
Looking at the comments, they haven't uploaded the file basically.
They haven't uploaded the file yet, which is interesting. I wonder if Dale's watching today. He'll probably jump onto that. Okay, but haven't we been asking for years? Because I always said that when they did the Jaguar, they brought out a left-handed drive Jag, and people were mightily upset that they didn't do a right-hand drive Jag. But if you look at the history of that E-Type Jag, 90% of all Jags that were built ended up left-hand drive to America. And they thought and I thought that they could now, if you wanted to, add a 3D download that you could print off your own part. But I think it's pretty cool that they've done that. So that they've added an option to, well, when it is on the site, obviously, to download that 3D part. What's anyone else's take on that?
You'll still get people complaining about quality control, even when they print it themselves.
Yeah.
Look good
I mean,
to me.
it's a
Don't
good-
have a 3D printer.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Get
a
somebody
good
else to
test
do it.
bed. It's a good test
That's
bed
right.
to try the 3D printing lock.
Yeah.
I do think it's a bit weird that it's on a older tooling, but again, it's a fuel tank, so it's not like it's a deep adding detail. You're adding an extra subject, so I think that's quite good. But then I feel that if they've done it for this, and bearing in mind a fuel tank is not that difficult to design in CAD, that maybe is this something that they're going to go more adventurous on future kits? So
Yeah.
you know, if they're, you know, a fuel tank is a fuel tank. Are they going to start adding those? Are they not? I mean,
it's testing the water, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no reason to assume, I think, that companies like Airfix won't go down this road to some degree, because from a commercial perspective, this is high margin accessories. They're going to make lots of money out of this, and actually so they should. You know, it's a very, very good add-on that they can do, and they involve themselves in the aftermarket as well, and that seems to be a very sensible way of going to me, you know, and it wouldn't surprise me at all to see that this year. I've said so before, as you all know.
As I said, we've suggested it before, even when Dale's been on Airfix and Chill, and we said, have you ever thought about releasing STL files? And the problem is, and I don't think it was Dale, I think it was Matt who said that once the STL file goes out into the wild, you have no control.
It's gone. You have no control over it.
You've got no control.
When we've had 3D Gizmo on, he said exactly the same thing, and that's why he only sells the items, not the files.
Yeah.
So that, you know, it's always going to be a free resource if Airfix do it and they're giving the files out, because what it is, it's like that's free popping candy, essentially, like sort of get you in and sort of go, oh yeah, we've got this kit. However, if you buy it from us, you can get the access to the file. I mean, there are ways of encrypting it, but obviously it's, you know, if it's in a members area, that's restricted, but it just takes one person to download it and then leak it or whatever. But I don't think it's going to be on big projects.
I think, I've said it a million times. At the moment, they can't do that. But there will come a point. where they can.
Yeah.
The technology will evolve, and then you'll see it explode.
Yeah.
Once people can protect their intellectual property, then it will explode.
Yeah. Jim Brooks put on here, taking off my Airfix glasses off for 30 seconds. Is this not the thin edge of the wedge? Airfix make a rough representation of a model, then give the opportunity to correct it or turn it into a Mark II.
I agree, Jim.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. But I would I think Miss Model is right in what she's saying. There was just a shame on the anniversary scheme they include the decal, not the part. I understand what they're doing it. I think this is a trial. I think they're saying, let's try this out. Remember when they did the Black Buck and there was a problem with the pylon? They did offer a 3D part to correct it.
Yeah.
But they sent you that 3D part. They never sent you the STL file. If I'm right, if anybody's got me wrong on this,
I just thought it was. I didn't think you got anything new for Black Buck. I thought it was just an adjustment to the original tooling of where you.
Yeah,
cut
they give
away.
you a way of cutting it, but there was also, I think, I saw two people say that there were two. There was two people who said that they received a 3D printed part.
Zinsan, would I be correct that in the business world, this is known as proof of concept?
Yeah,
It may very well be. This, it's proving a business model to some extent. I'm not sure this STL file thing is a particularly good idea to go down that road. I think it's probably more worth their while fabricating the component and selling it out.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a much better way of going. But as you pointed out, we're at the top of the hump in terms of product, in terms of 3D printers and availability of software and so on, and the wiki's still growing. And you will get to a point where, like many things electronics wise, you'll get to this stage. So I'm just collecting my thoughts here to make sure I say this correctly. You'll get to the stage where it becomes a mass market product. It isn't there right now. And at that stage, the mass market product, you'll be able to pick up a good quality 3D printer for 250 quid, and you'll be able to make something for next to nothing. And there will be all sorts of people who will sell STL files of all sorts of different things for you if you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel to me like protecting these files is going to be a fruitful exercise, because there are lots and lots and lots of 16-year-olds that live in their mother's bedroom, back bedroom, and spend their whole day unencrypting things.
Yes.
This is what happens with, or what happened with DVDs and CDs in the
They
days.
couldn't be copied, apparently.
Yeah, they just couldn't. You had to manufacture a CD for many years to the Red Book standard, and you couldn't encrypt any of the data on it. And even if you did, people would decrypt it in seconds, and it's just a pointless exercise. So in the end, you give up. And as I say, it may go that way, but as I say, I think the model that we begin to see with these masks is Airfix make the masks, or they develop a partnership for someone to make the masks. Now they develop a partnership with someone to 3D print for them, and they sell them as genuine Airfix parts. And they're made to the specification that they demand. There are two options in the case of this Jaguar kit. You can build a left-hand drive one out of the mold, for example, or you can remake the mold as either left or right-hand drive, which is what Revell did with their 125th Jaguar. And if you don't want to rebuild the mold, then you say, here you are, here's a 3D part. Jolly good for you. You can have a right-hand drive one if you want. So there's a lot of concept proving from a business perspective to do at the moment, because there's a lot behind it, because if you want to invest in 3D printing, what have you got to do? You've got to buy the printers, then you've got to invest in the software, then you've got to invest in the expertise, and the biggest investment will be the human element of this, because you can't use AI to do it. And then you've got to manage that talent. You've got to make sure you don't lose it, because there'll be an awful lot of demand for these people once the thing starts to take off, and people will be going hither and thither, and you're going to have to protect your IP, within your business. They have to go at it slowly, because if you don't go at it slowly, you're going to make mistakes.
Just quickly, this is the part in the Jaguar, because I was because I've got a 3D printer now, so you can see that's it there. The only problem is you could in theory put this on a machine and twist it around, like reverse it. Problem is that the pedals will be in the wrong position. That's the only problem, is the pedals will be in the wrong position. But I was thinking of just snapping off those pedals, so you don't see it anyway when it's in the car. But that's the bit I was looking at. If we could 3D scan this and then flip it around, I could make mine into a. Anyway, there was a couple of months ago, because I've got the 3D printers there now. But I think you are right that a lot of this is all about protecting their IP. This is what it's all about. I understand that people think if I buy a kit, I expect all the parts to be there, and I get that as well, But this isn't an off-the-shelf kit. This is a kit that is for club members, and I think to themselves, we've designed this. We've done the fuel tank. Let's offer it as a free download to club members.
I think it's also the
reaction we get.
Well, I think it's also the point as well, as people have picked up on, that it's the prototype. The molding is the prototype. So effectively, Airfix have, where they've done their 100th anniversary set of the Swedish Air Force. If you look at their original kit of 70 years or whatever, 30 years ago, with the original Draken, Viggen, and Gripen in. They've basically taken they've taken that inspiration, gone, right, what toolings have we got that is new or other Swedish aircraft? So I think they swapped out the J11, so the twin-seat Vampire, which wasn't in there previously, for like the old Mozzie. And the only old tool in that new kit is the Draken. Now, with this one, it's slightly different. They've obviously left the old Viggen in, and essentially they've got the old tool. They're like, what can we do? Can we make use of it? Yes, we can. Okay, we can throw a fuel tank in, and it looks more or less like the the realistic model. I mean, the other brand that did it is Special Hobby, but Special Hobby, you're paying 32 quid for just a Viggen.
Oh yeah.
So you've got, because is it £32 actually for the whole club membership? I'm trying to think. Is it about that?
35.
The UK. 35. Okay.
Yeah.
So for 35 quid, you're getting 2 aircraft. You're getting your documents you get with it. You're getting all the other stuff. There's a whole load of things that you are getting better value for money. I think it's just simply the case that they bought it out for time, and because they happened to be doing, the Draken for the other set, and so they thought, right, which is going to go where? Right, the Viggen can go as a standalone in the 100th anniversary kit for the club members. It's a business decision like that, essentially.
Yeah. Here's a business decision. And the Spit PR 19 on the Box Art podcast, which is good. So, the what was just said there, missing the Ladson and the Tunnon, which are Airfix, which are Hella boxes. I've got that up there actually, that Tunnon. I just think they went out the box this year with it. It's an anniversary for Swedish. Let's embrace it in our club pack and in the Mosi pack that they've done. I think, as I said, just
I think I think another big driver of why they wanted to do it was the fact that Matt just wanted to use red and yellow coloured plastic, and it worked.
Yeah, it is red and yellow in the box.
Because it seems that. Well, it seems like Matt was a man on a mission, and he has completed his mission, even though Dale was not aware of that fact until it arrived on his desk. which I find quite funny.
Yeah. And the decal scheme's pretty smart, to be honest. I like the decal schemes.
I hate it.
Do you really? Do you
Yes.
really?
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea at all. I've got it because obviously I'm a
Yeah.
club member, but yeah, I won't be building that anytime soon.
Which
Oh,
one?
yeah.
Which
Both.
one do you not like? Is it both? You're both not a fan of either.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea.
But somebody put in the comments, does this give us license? Does this give people license to produce the part for that kit and sell it? I don't think so. I think you have to think, you know, sometimes you have to be moral in your thoughts, in your deeds. Now, luckily I've got a 3D printer. When this comes out, when I'm able to download the part, I will print off 20 of those parts. And if anyone wants one, come and just email me. I'll print off the part and I will ship it to you. All you got to do is pay you £3 for the postage. And that'll be fine. I'm willing to do that. If there are 20 club members that want this part and they haven't got a printer, I will print it. But I think it comes to a point where I think that, like 20 years ago, I bet there was 10% of people had an airbrush.
Mm-hmm.
Now I reckon it's 95% of scale modelers have an airbrush, and 5 just still use a hairy stick. And I think it will happen with these 3D printers. They will come down in price, and everyone will have some sort of 3D printer on their bench, whether it's a small one or a big one, just so that they can print off little parts.
Mm-hmm.
I think even now, I don't think the money is in producing 3D printed parts.
It's
The money
black
is in the
magic
design.
of-
Sorry, John.
It's the black magic of, you know, you got a file and then you pull it
Yeah.
into a renderer, and you've got to get that just right? And
Yeah.
then you got to set up your printer. You got to make sure your printer is, you know, a build deck, all that kind of stuff. That's why I don't 3D print stuff. Is I spend way more time trying to set up everything than printing it. So yeah.
Yeah.
But we had all this back in the day with laserjet printers and printing stuff. It was a nightmare to print. If you go back even further, you know, with the press.
If you think back, you used to take documents to like the news agents or the post office. They'd photocopy them for you for 10 pence a sheet, and
you
know, all that sort of stuff. But time has moved on, things have evolved. No one even sends paper documents anymore. You used to pay for stuff with a check. Who does that? Like
government.
Yeah, well, you're old. But
This is going out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Check. Because they don't give me any other option.
We live in a digital world, and all of this technology is very much in its infancy. The smartphone is in its infancy. Even now, and what a smartphone can do is phenomenal if you embrace the technology. But it's still in its infancy. You're only talking the last sort of 20 years, really, but everyone's got one now, or the vast majority of people will have some sort of smartphone. I can remember being at school, and it wasn't as long ago as Zinzan or Jim, but I can remember being at school where they used to make you work out maths in your head. And the line of the maths teacher was always, "You'll never have a calculator in your pocket."
What a bet!
Look what everyone's got in their pocket now.
You're not always going to have a calculator on you.
Yeah.
I've got.
They were still telling me that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
All the information that I could ever want, and that's only going to get more and more and more. And in the 3D printing world, more and more and more, it will become a thing. And I always think back to what the designer said to you, Moz, about when they produce a kit. and they design a kit, what they're doing is giving the end user, the consumer, a blank canvas. So if manufacturers started to release STL files, they're doing the same thing. They're giving the consumer a blank canvas. What the consumer does with that is down to the consumer. And you're right, you have to apply an element of morality to it.
Yeah.
How many sculptors are out there that sculpt figures and busts and all that stuff? And then how many people go onto AliExpress or Temu or Etsy and go, oh, it's a quarter of the price of Death Model. Yeah, because it's a cheap Chinese copy.
Yeah.
And if that sits well with you morally, so be it. It doesn't sit well with me, I'll never buy them. The same as I don't have a dodgy set-top box that streams all the channels to me. I pay my subscription to the relevant platform and do it properly, because morally, if I don't, eventually, if everyone's getting stuff for free or at a massive knockdown price, then people will stop producing this content. They will stop producing these figures. They'll stop producing because there'll be no money in the pot.
Yeah.
It's a moral issue.
Yeah.
It becomes one of evolution, to be honest with you, in that way. People said this about CDs and DVDs and so on, and yet we still have a burgeoning music industry. These things have to evolve. And I mean, you can make the comparison between what's happening with 3D printing now and flat screen televisions. I was working with Samsung, or at Samsung in London, when they brought their first, I think it was a 35-inch LCD type TV in, and it was 28,000 quid, and it weighed about half a ton, you know. And how much can you buy a 40-inch TV for now? The people who buy these things first, the early adopters, are the ones who make it cheaper for everybody later on.
Yeah,
and that's just the way these things work. So the thing will evolve in precisely the same way, and this is precisely linear with everything else that you see, whether it's digital streaming, whether it's control systems for your home stuff, you know, your telly and your hi-fi and all that kind of thing. It's precisely the same. There will be a small element of people who will do it themselves. That might be 15% of the market. For many years there will be that, and then there'll be other people who just, they're, shall we say, time poor. That's not an unkind way of putting it, but they're time poor. They just want to buy the bloody part, and so they'll go and buy the part from somebody.
I'm one of them.
And the marketplace will move, and that's what happens. It's far too complicated for anything else, you know. That's how, you know, the bloody market works, by making millions of decisions a day.
Can I just butt in here very quickly? I think
it's your show.
The reason, this is my take on it, the reason why people have these set-top boxes that can illegally watch any channel is because subscriptions just don't work. They're too expensive. And here we go, Apple fanboy here. When Steve Jobs went to the music, this says the majority of people want to buy their music. They want to buy it. It's too expensive. We will ship a single for $1. And they bought into that, and then piracy just dropped considerably because it was easy to get the content and you weren't getting ripped off. That's how I saw it. And this is why Amazon Prime done so well at the beginning, because you paid your flat fee of, what was it, £79 a year? Okay. And with that, you got next day delivery, and you had a whole whammy of product you could watch, and it was cheap. And the thing is that subscriptions don't work. They really don't, because if you look at my, you know, when I look back, when times were hard after COVID, and I looked at what I was subscribed to, I'm talking subscription as in a monetary value, not following subscription where I've paid stuff. Prime, Netflix, Disney, Paramount, you know, there was £140 a month on things that we were subscribed to. In the end, I just binned a lot.
And then think
couldn't
back
see
in the day as well with Sky. How much did Sky use to cost with the Skybox?
Yeah.
Again, that is a moral decision for the individual to take. So, as my standpoint would be, if I cannot afford Disney, if I cannot afford Paramount Plus, if I cannot afford Prime, if I cannot afford whatever subscription model it may be, then I don't have it. What I wouldn't do is then consume that content illegally. But humans being humans, the black market has always existed in every area.
Always.
And it will continue to exist because there are many, many people out there that are quite willing to consume that content illegally. They're quite willing to wear the Googie sunglasses. They're quite willing to wear the Googie t-shirt or whatever it may be. So therefore the black market will always exist. And 3D printing, the same as CDs, DVDs, streaming content, whatever it may be, there will always be people out there that will exploit the black market pound. Always.
And but that is exactly what Temu is. It's legalized black market. Undercutting,
which is why I don't use it.
Yeah, undercutting UK just on VAT as well. Just on the VAT.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't use Temu, I don't use AliExpress, I don't have TikTok downloaded. The only streaming platforms I have, I pay for.
Yeah, but that's the thing with like perceived value, isn't it? Is that you go with morals go into it, but it's also brands of some people will want the genuine article. So, for example, take in the context of Airfix mask sets at the minute, you know. Airfix are now doing official mask sets for their products. You will get some people who see more value in buying the Airfix branded one because it's a genuine item that's been designed by, Airfix. Okay, it's produced by another company, but in terms of it's an Airfix branded official item, they will find more value in that and be willing to pay more than, for example, Edward, which may be £3 cheaper. Even though, but because the Edward is not the official one. The official one is the Airfix. And that's the same with everything. And I think that also goes for, the 3D printing. The 3D printing, I think, is slightly different when it comes to plastic manufacturing because Airfix and all injection molding companies will want to, as you say, produce a blank canvas, but also produce that tooling to the best quality where it doesn't actually need for mass market the 3D printing. Because if they have to provide a 3D printing part or they design one, that's nearly an admission they didn't get the detail right of tooling. So when you think of it that way, that's why everyone goes, Airfix should do this, Airfix should do that. It's like, well, no, if they've done a kit right to the within the limits of the technology, so the limits of injection molding, you shouldn't then need the 3D printed part. For example, you see certain, like I think Edward, they did like an S199 or whatever with all these 3D printed parts, which weren't, the plastic was fine, but they just added it and the 3D printing didn't work and then people complained about it. And if you have to add parts to an already original tooling, in my mind, I'd start questioning, well, is this tooling actually up to scratch? Is it the quality? That's why I don't think Airfix will take up 3D printing. The mask set's different because that's out the scope of the injection of the tooling. And therefore, it's an official branded product. It adds value, and it's something different. Whereas 3D printing,
all of it is subjective, isn't it? It's value to the individual. So, for example, within the hobby space, so there is a company that make paintbrushes called Artis Opus. They're expensive. I have them. The value attached to it, so take their dry brush set, for example. It is common knowledge that other dry brush sets are made in the same factory but other manufacturers that are less than half the price of the Artis Opus ones. It's the same brush, essentially. But when the Artis Opus ones come, they come in a nice wooden presentation box with a little part of cleaning stuff. And to me, the value's there, so I'm willing to pay for it. And it's the same with everything. The value is personal to me.
Yeah.
It's the same with everything that we do.
Interesting. But I think going back to the actual original argument, we have an argument, but the debate, I think it's a moral choice where you buy this stuff from. If you want to buy, I will confess, there was a model kit that I wanted. Nowhere in this country had it. AliExpress did, so I bought it. Now, how that looks to me with VAT and everything, but I can assure you that you buying from an Airfix website, your kits is not going to destroy the local model shop. What will destroy the local model shop is the likes of Temu, who are breaking the law, and this is serious now, and I don't know why the government haven't stepped in on this. If you gamblify or make shopping an experience, a fun experience, by giving you wheels and giving you discount, it's gamblification of an online shopping experience.
Yeah.
It's illegal in this country. No other company does it. Click this button, you can or collect the eggs, collect this, do that. If you make shopping a game, that's illegal. And that is what Temu is doing. And unfortunately, and I see it, don't get me wrong, I bought stuff off Temu to see what it was like. And the quality is just not there anyway. My stencil set, the AK stencil set, is fantastic. The other one, they're flimsy. They'll use them once, you'll probably bin them. But the AK ones will last. And that's the difference. But the thing that will destroy model shops is the likes of Temu. That's how I see it. And also, when they sell a kit and they say the RRP is 55 and you're getting it for 25 quid, it'd be £2 difference. Like another one should be £27 or £29. The difference is that we're paying VAT on that, where Temu are shipping this stuff in, there's no VAT. So take that as you will. But I can assure you that not buying from an Airfix website will not stop. Buying from an Airfix website or Hornby site will not close any model shops down. It really won't. The likes of Temu and the such will. AliExpress, Temu, So that's how I see it. Or these companies who work outside the remit. So that's how I see it anyway. But it's up to you. It's your own moral compass. For saying that, I think it's exciting that Airfix have done this. And they've also added a 3D print for the Skyvan as well, for the extra props. If I had that right.
I did see that,
yeah, 5-bladed.
So that's a vintage classic. You have the option. But there's to me, there's no different. There's no different to when you go in. For me, if you got that in there, it's a freebie. There's no different to you be somebody who has got a 3D printer going onto a website and then spending 15 quid on an STL file to download a set of jerry cans and new track links or something. So, but interesting. But as I said, I will be printing. If I get this file, I will print them off. And if you do want that tank to do your club membership, what was it? The Saab 37 Vegan. Give me a shout. I'll send it to you free of charge. Well, the part of the charge is cover the postage, which is good.
Anyway. Luke glowing.
Pardon?
Is it me or is Luke glowing?
Luke glowing.
It's the reflection off my monitor.
It is, yeah.
Right.
It's
the
personality.
Yeah.
He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy.
No, she's the force of your.
Not as much as Barry's hair. Look at that.
Yeah.
Well, the lights up there. I actually do have hair there. It just makes me look bolted coat, Call me cue ball.
Oh, at least you got something to comb.
Yeah, not much though. It's not bald. It's thinning.
Yeah.
That's a
Perhaps
good
we can
point,
3D
Travis.
print you some.
Yeah.
That's like that. Is if every company's so direct, it would really hurt shops. Is it okay that it's only Airfix? Every company sells direct.
Yeah.
You can sells direct. Every company does. The thing is, though, is that
They sell
Airfix
to
set their
retailers
price.
too.
Yeah, Airfix set their price. If you want it cheaper, you go to another. You go to a shop. You go to JadLab, for instance, or Wonderland Models. I it it Amazon can sell you 70% of what you need to do your modeling. There are many times at night I will be there. I will go onto Amazon and I will buy lacquer paints or something, and then it will come to me next day because my model shop's miles away. If I want a model, if I want a Revell kit or another kit, I'll go to Jadlam or one of their models or Scale Model Shop. But yeah, I don't your local model shop. I think I buy most of my stuff for modeling at model shows. I go to Brooks Models, places like that. But as I said, everybody does their own. Everybody ships to their own. Glow
So,
2B yeah, go on.
I'm going to slightly disagree because I've worked in shops and I have no issue with Airfix selling directly, but I think it should always be at RRP. I don't like the fact they do sudden price drops and quite substantial discounts where shops would have paid a trade price, and effectively by Airfix dropping that, they're either reducing the margin or they're undercutting the shops who they've just sold to. That's always been very unpopular. That's always a well-known, like the worst known secret. Everybody knows about that. That there's disquiet about it. So, like as I say, Airfix selling full RRP, absolutely fine. The membership, Airfix Club getting the 10%, not a problem. Because people have paid towards that. But I just don't personally like the flash sales. As good as they are for the consumer, I think they ruin a very good relationship with shops, especially with ones where they have provided the price. But as I understand it now, when they do these sales, they are offering greater percentage discounts to the shops in advance, so the shops can take advantage of that, whereas previously they didn't. So that is a good thing from Hornby as the group itself is the ones controlling it. But as long as the shops can get the same discounts, not got a problem at all with Airfix doing it. But generally manufacturers should always sell at RRP unless they're like in the bargain bucket, like you'll see it. What's it called? Like retail villages or whatever. Like I've got gum off keys to discounts or whatever. It's last of the line. End of year sales, but not through the year where they will constantly drop it, and that's become more and more. But like I say, Hornby have seemed to be offering those lower prices at trade, so then shops can match that price that Airfix are then doing on their own website, which is again an improvement.
But what about like Revell then? Because I get emails all the time from Revell, and I know that they don't ship to the UK. But those emails are going out to all their European customers, and they are cheap.
So Revell, for example, have always offered that price. So when I was working in a model shop from 2017 to 2024, they always offered that price to trade. And it would be several months in advance. And then essentially we would get the discounted trade price so we could then match what Revell was selling. Whereas with Hornby at the time, we never got that. We would pay the full trade price. And then effectively the sale price at Hornby would either be the trade price or below the trade price. And that was where the friction came from.
Yeah, I understand that. But, I think online is where everybody, unless you're a model shop that can deal online, I just think that it's nowadays, I'm not, I understand both sides of the argument, say, But I do buy a lot from when I go to model. I buy a lot of my stuff from model shows and from online. That's where I buy. I don't go to my local model shop. I go to if I really am desperate for something, I go to Hobbycraft. But no,
Watch your mouth.
I know. But then again, they seem to have a pretty good selection of model kits. They got the Hobbycraft tag on them.
Yeah,
I think
well, I can remember when they used to stock Hornby.
Yeah,
as a hobby and as a community, and I was discussing this with someone earlier. We are up against it as a community because there seems to be a very strong reticence from the community to evolve. And unfortunately, we live in a digital world. The high street is dead. The reason the high street is dead is because Amazon are bloody good at what they do. Walmart are very good at what they do. Retail parks are very good at what they do. So these traditional bricks and mortar little corner shop that sells model kits and blah, people, we don't live in that world anymore. We don't. Now, as sad as it is, and all the stalwarts are saying, oh, well, we need to support the bricks and mortar. Why? Why do I?
Well,
as a consumer, why do I need to support the shop that only sells 2 types of paint? When I can go online and I can order whatever I want and it can be delivered the next day, I'm still going to take that stuff home and use it. Whether I buy it at a shop or it's delivered to my door. And that's just the way the world is. And either you move with it or you get left behind. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I could turn that on its head and say that when you talk about the Amazon types being very good at what they do, but they're very good at general retail. We can't apply that same model to specialist retail where a degree of expertise is needed on the part of the seller, and this is the opportunity. This is the opportunity for bricks and mortar retailers in scale modeling, is to offer that expertise and to offer that.
What expertise?
The expertise in their hobby, the technical expertise, the relationship, the person to person relationship.
Can I not find that on YouTube?
It's possible that you can, but you may want.
And is it not a better way? If I go and watch Martin Kovac use a pigment from VMS, is that not a better way for me to learn how to use that product than speaking to someone?
You could argue with perfect facility that is the case, and I hear this argument because it is the sort of argument that people who believe that online retail is better do offer. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely.
I don't think it's better, but I think it's a reality of the digital world.
And therefore retail has to develop in response to that. And this is
priced out of the market, are they not?
Pardon me?
They're priced out of the market.
Are they now?
What business rates in the UK?
Yeah, I mean, they're if you run an internet business, you pay that as well. But
to rent a shop, how much is it to rent a shop before you've sold a thing?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. I mean, it's going to be different for every shop.
Whereas online retailers don't have that overhead, do they?
Not to the same degree, which was the original model that that online retailers used in an attempt to try and capture all the business, the lower overhead, lower margin, buy-in lots because you take advantage of the buying power. Jadlam do this kind of thing because they're a volume dealer, and they sell online, but they also sell to people who go and visit them. And I'm willing to bet that there are quite a lot of people who go into Antics in Gloucester or Plymouth or Cardiff or whatever, and who go into there because they want to meet the people that they deal with there. They know
the shopping experience.
It is, you know, the shopping experience of the gentleman who lives in that shop, you know, who spent the last 15 years of his life there. A bit like Ben, spent 7 years in a model shop. He had his, I suspect if I asked him to now, he'd have in his head a list of his 10 top customers that he knew really well that used to, yeah, he's nodding now.
We used to do networking, and the thing, so I started sort of at the crossover point of where Jadlam and the bigger retailers started to come along. And the thing is that the current system, and again, it depends on what country you are, but in the UK, the current government system is that there's rate relief to people on retail parks and everything compared to the high street. And that's where the biggest issue is the fact that the rates are so much more for brick and mortar. So it automatically already puts the guys who are in retail parks doing big volumes at a financially more beneficial position. The thing what we did is we changed it to them becoming a destination and experience and personable, and that we knew the customers, and that, for example, they could come to us, they could ask expertise. So I did the plastic kits. We had a guy who did the model railway, another guy who did model boats, model cars, you know, and effectively we would do the networking with the local clubs. It would become a destination where to go. And unlike Amazon, you can't go in for a tea or coffee or a chat, because the hobby, even though it's quite isolating, or supposedly was, we've all discovered with this, with online, etc., there's actually quite personable, and people wanted that to some extent, and that's what we became experts.
That's what you traded on, and that's what I mean when I say specialist retail. That sort of thing is difficult for Amazon to bottle. You know, it's fine if you want to deal with Amazon, absolutely no problem. For commodity products, it works extremely well. You know, it's no question. For specialist product, well, just try and send something back. It's much more
what I would also add to that as well, Zinzan, is that we took our model from actually Warhammer and Games Workshop. Games Workshop, the reason that Games Workshop do well is because it's not only you go in, you buy your product, the people in there know what they're doing, but also you've got other things. You can go in and you can go play, you can do other things within the shop, and you can't do that on Amazon. And that's something we had to change.
I'm going to say, Ben, you're absolutely right, because I know for a fact if I was CEO of Toys R Us, what would I have done? I would have made it a play area. Toys R Us would have been. If I got a friend who worked for Toys R Us, and he loved working for Toys R Us because he used to play with the stuff behind closed doors, like, you know, all the Nerf stuff. And the idea for me, Toys R Us would have saved themselves if they did the Games Workshop sort of idea, moving in, etc. I don't agree with the fact I've never been to a model shop and said, "What's this paddle liner really like?" And the guy says, "Yeah, it's really good. I use it." Right, and then they pull out a bottle, they pull out a model, and they say, "Look at this, dip the brush in, and look how that works." Never seen that in a model shop, never at all. I've never seen them show me how a product works. They could advise you, but hang on a minute, he spent £5 on that bottle. He needs to sell it for £8. He's going to tell me if I drink it, I'll fucking go blocks. You know what I mean? Because he wants his £5 back and a £3 profit.
Yeah, but that's the bit. You're thinking cynically of not a relationship. You're thinking but you're thinking it as transactional. Whereas what me and Zinzan are saying, when you come to a shop, it's relational, it's different. So online world has made everything transactional. That's why, for example, people are cutthroat with prices now. There is no shop loyalty anymore. It's if the shop across the road or Jadlam or whoever is cheaper, I buy at Jadlam. I won't support the local one. Business and the hobby has become transactional. One, because the financial state of the country overall, you could say, but also because of the dynamic of how the world is slowly changing to more online, to not necessarily community, however you want to call it. Those old ties are done. But it is the case of, if you came into where I worked, I wouldn't necessarily have the product in front of me because we aren't going to have loads of pots of different product open, but I would have had photos on my phone. I could show you the technique of what I've done, etc. Because the thing is, the staff did the hobby and the staff understood the hobby? That's the thing that, for example, you go into certain now, I won't name them, but you go in their staff, you ask them a question, they just look at you blankly because they're just staff. They don't do the hobby. They're not interested in that.
But
I was just going to go back to this. Can I just go back to this point with Jim Brook a minute? Because he just said here, bricks and mortars give range and experience. Does it help the modeler if you've got a video promoting one product that they have been paid to promote? I'm going to put it out there. I don't get paid to promote anything, right? In the sense of when I'm using product, I get sent product, I review it, I tell you how my experience is. If I'm paid to promote something, I will say I have been paid to promote this. Like the D'Agostini models. I was paid to do a video on this thing, and I reviewed it in the sense of this is what I'm doing, this is what you'll get, knock your socks off. I don't tell people you've got to buy it. That's the difference. I tell you how I've experienced the product. What have I done with the gallery brushes? Every time I've done a review on one, I've said quite clearly, like the compressor, fantastic. Love the compressor. Ditch the airbrush because it's crap. Put a different airbrush to it. Got to be honest and open. But they don't pay you for this. They just give you the product and ask you to review it. I think that's the difference. But I promise you, you've got to be open-minded when you watch a review and just watch how others have reviewed them as well. You know, don't just take it at face value.
There is a danger of talking about an individual video, an individual channel. And how many modeling channels are on YouTube? Thousands.
Yeah.
So, for example, let's use Airfix for sake of argument. Airfix release a new kit. And within 24 hours of that kit being released-ish, 36 hours, there will be a plethora of unboxing videos from all different channels. What that enables me to do as the consumer is watch maybe 5 or 6 of those videos and get 5 or 6 often different opinions on the quality of the kit, the detail, whatever it may be. I'm only using Airfix for sake of argument as a manufacturer. What I can't do, and I had it on Saturday, this exact issue. I was in my local bricks and mortar model shop, and that is a good model shop. It sells the majority of paints ranges. It sells the majority of manufacturers. It has a model railway section. It has an RC section and a scale modeling section. A guy went into there who wanted to know which was the best gloss clear coat to spray through an airbrush that he just bought. He just bought the airbrush. So he wanted to know which was the best clear coat to spray. The guy who runs the shop gave him the wrong advice. He gave him the wrong advice about the initial clear coat to use, and he gave him the wrong thinning ratio to spray it through an airbrush. I gave the guy one of my business cards. I said, right, watch that channel, and you will see me thinning it. You will see me spraying it. You will see that I put the tack coat on first. Then I'll go with a wet coat, etc., etc. You can see it. You can pause the video at various points. Don't just watch my channel. Put this name of this product into YouTube, and you will see hundreds and hundreds of videos of people demonstrating how to use that product. You cannot get that in a bricks and mortar store. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And he can do it while he's watching the video. You can't do that at the model shop. And that's the difference. That's where the digital world comes into its own in this particular arena. Now, if I want to buy a car, I'm not going to buy a car on the back of a YouTube video. I'm going to want to test drive that car before I part with my money on it. So I need to go to a manufacturer and test drive the actual car.
The only thing I will say though is that on that particular element of you can go through doing the clear coats, etc., shops have never really offered that. That's always generally been if you went to, like, I think it's the airbrush company, for example, they always offered courses That's slightly different. That's from general sales advice to I want to be instructed on how to use this, and that to me is something that they've never offered.
But it's
always been a course.
You gave them the wrong advice.
No, the advice in terms of initial coating, that I don't disagree. That was obviously wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're talking about going through the process, that's something that's always been offered as a course separately compared to the general retail experience of being asking, what's this kit like? How does it build? Rather than go, what's the full process of priming this, that. That's more like a course, I would argue. So it's sort of,
but that's
get where you're coming from.
The digital world comes into its own.
Yeah, I think it does. It
replaces and that
but
will kill the traditional, and has done, bricks and mortar shop, because this specialist advice and this specialist knowledge and experience is gone. It doesn't exist. What does exist is a plethora of information in the digital space.
It's a very convincing argument.
It's
no
true.
Question. Well, as I said, it's I'm here agreeing with you. It's a very convincing argument, and yet retailers continue to trade.
In what area, though?
In the area precisely that you're talking about.
How many model shops go out of business?
Oh, I'm sure model shops and pubs and food retailers and cafes go out of business every day.
All the time.
That happens,
because
but new ones
they cannot
open.
Compete with the digital world. And if there's a community, we don't embrace that and evolve with it. Whether we like it or not is different.
I think
we don't embrace it and move with it, then unfortunately we will be left behind.
It becomes
Doesn't
like
that contradict when you were saying before about people things like AliExpress and Temu and stuff like
that?
Yeah. It's sort of a contradictory position, isn't it?
Not
because you were saying before that you don't agree with AliExpress and Temu.
No, I don't.
Because they're undercutting other people.
No, because it's a copy.
It's a copy.
Right.
A lot of it's
so
copied.
That's completely different. That's not a contradictory position. What I'm saying is, if I want to see someone use VMS products, then I'm going to go to VMS's YouTube channel and I'm going to order it online, because the majority of bricks and mortar shops do not stock VMS.
But you've got two separate things there. You've got wanting to see the product being used and then purchasing the product. They're two separate entities. They were never the same thing.
No, but the point is, I can go to my local model shop. They don't sell it.
Yeah.
But
then that's a stocking. But that's a stocking issue. But then that's a stocking issue.
The manufacturer and get it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's a stocking and a retail issue. That's not a being shown how to use it issue. They're two separate
the
things.
argument was put forward, Ben, that when you go to a shop, you get specialist advice and specialist knowledge and specialist experience. I would argue that yes, you do, but it is not the same as watching Martin Kovac build a tank.
No, it isn't. And I didn't quite say that. I said that retail needs to develop. To develop into that, to become specialist, and not all retailers are specialists. So those two things aren't really the same. But as I say, your argument is powerful, definitely. But it's not a new argument. I've had discussions with people in businesses that I worked in. In one particular case, I worked in a business that sold showers. And we did some investigation on the types of showers that were sold through the trade, through let's call them shops, but trade outlets like Edmondson Electrical and those kind of people, and showers that were purchased online, because we had the ability to be able to do that. We could delineate very precisely between online and offline. And what we found was that the online purchases, the top 10, was very different to the offline one. Now, what that said to us is that the sort of people who shop online don't go to shops at all. So they are mutually exclusive from the sort of
You're not
people who
comparing
visit
eggs
shops.
with eggs, though.
Say again?
You're not comparing eggs with eggs.
I'm making a
Buying a shower is very different
I'm,
to buying a model
I'm,
paint.
I'm making a comparison between online and offline to show that there can be a difference in those two types of customers, and I do believe that will translate into this marketplace just as easily as it would it worked in that marketplace. I've no reason to doubt that that's not the case, although again I'm willing to be convinced otherwise. But I think that what will probably happen here is, yes, some model shops will go to the wall, some others will get larger and will develop. This has happened in the hi-fi business over the last 25 years. I was involved in that business as well. And we now have a situation where there are a smaller number of much bigger hi-fi retailers in this country offering specialist advice. And it's another specialist market. Yes, you can certainly buy high-end hi-fi online. Would you want to? You know, when you have that expertise available to you and people will genuinely know about their product. It's, as I say, it's not an argument that I'm seeking to win by any means. I'm simply presenting an opinion which is no less or more valid than yours. And I
don't think it's about winning or losing the argument. I really don't. But everyone in the chat, for example, is saying, "Oh, bricks and mortar." They're all watching a live stream about the hobby on YouTube.
Yeah, as I say, I don't doubt that.
It's a massive part of the hobby now.
It is, yeah.
And I think the days of the bricks and mortar, you go and buy one of 3 manufacturers because that's what they stock, one of 3 paint ranges because that's what they stock. And I feel for them because they're unable to hold stock of every single paint range of every single manufacturer, every single product. It's not a reality, is it? They can't do that. But if I want to go and buy a Mercedes, then I'll go to a Mercedes garage.
Yeah.
What I don't have down the road is an AK Interactive shop. But what I do have is the ability to go on their website and order it straight from them.
Yeah. And that's where I was trying to get. That's where I think that's where the argument will lie. Like I said, we all buy where we want to.
Yeah.
Jadlam scale model shop, I've bought from them. And it's just and also an Amazon, because the kit's there. Doesn't ever seem much cheaper. I do try and go for, if something's a bit cheaper elsewhere, I go for price, but also I go for delivery when they're going to get it to me. I'd rather pay a bit more and have it next day than pay less and wait 2.5 weeks for. Do you know what I mean?
And pay more delivered, yeah.
But then this comes back to sort of what we used to call like the business triangle, which was basically stock availability, online presence, and cost. That to me seems, because you can have a bricks and mortar shop who has an online presence. There'll be slightly more possibly, but for example, that you're still supporting bricks and mortars, but they're online, because all the online does is give them a bigger presence. The stock availability in terms of variety, that's always going to be difficult. But in my mind, that's a business decision to sell products that sell all the market wants. You can't stock everything unless you do own a massive Amazon warehouse, or like, for example, Hannants, who are a massive distributor with a massive footprint. You can't stock all of that. So you have to take your best chances. Like, if you have one local to you that's a reasonable price and not charging, well above what the market rate is, support your local hobby shop. Because I know someone said earlier, I think they bought one of the mystery boxes from Airfix, and they basically said, should I feel guilty? No, you shouldn't. No one else offers that product. No one offers a mystery box. Unless your other half literally blindfolds you, shoves you in the shop and goes, pick one, darling, whatever, you're not going to get that same experience. So you don't have to feel guilty. But, at the end of the day, You go with what, like Luke said, with what you can afford and what you do. If that means you buy online, it means you buy online. At the end of the day, it's about enjoying the hobby, and it can't all be put on the consumer to make a business survive. The business does also have to make choices, like Luke says. So there's no point being guilty. There's no point feeling that way. Buy where you buy. But if you have a local hobby shop and you decide to go there, absolutely support it, because you're supporting a local business. That's all. It's just a choice at the end of the day.
Dan Cave there. That's exactly how I feel. I could go 100% online, even order it for Jadlam, but they're about an hour and 10 minutes from me. But I do know that I prefer to shop at Jadlam online, because when I go to Jadlam, instead of spending 20 quid online, I end up spending £100 in the shop. But do you know what I mean?
That's good business. If they're drawing you in as a customer, then you're leaving spending more money.
Yeah,
that's good business.
Yeah,
that's it. But as I said, if you have a local model shop, but I can guarantee that the majority of people who are watching this now on YouTube, their model shop, the nearest model shop, apart from Hobbycraft, is around an hour and a half away.
Easily.
Oh no, mine's about 10 minutes.
I know, yeah, but I'm just saying,
Hop on motorbike down into town, job done.
Yeah. But as I said, it's no different to years ago, where you would go down the road and you would go to a local hardware shop and you would buy your tins of paint. You think they're all gone. You go to B&Q. Do you know what I mean? And
I think that's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
As a customer base, although we're very niche and very small in the grand scheme of things as a hobby, the world has gone digital.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's gone online. And if the hobby doesn't embrace that, then unfortunately the hobby will be left behind.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of it, because everyone sat here within the next 30 to 40 years won't be here anymore.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
So therefore, it needs to attract a younger generation. Plant the seed now. They'll go away and find cars, girls, motorbikes, alcohol, that sort of stuff. And then they will come back. But when they're coming back to this hobby in 40 years' time, it will look very, very different then to it looks now. And if it doesn't embrace the digital world, and it doesn't embrace the technology that is evolving, that will be the end of it.
I'm going to put my hand up for one thing. When I got into scale modeling, ladies and gentlemen, I never went to a model shop. I was buying kits from the local newsagents. Okay. The other model shop, I believe, was in Exeter, that we used to go to, and that wasn't just Airfix kits; it was everything hobby, railways, scale model kits, die cast, radio control. There's Newton Ab actually. They had everything in there. And when you see there's no model shops now, just think about, it's not just the plastic. Everything's online now. The radio control. That's what I'm trying to get at, is that a shop cannot survive on just scale modeling. No. Those shops had everything. Like I said, the railway side, in the railway was extortionate prices anyway. And railway, die cast, even paint by numbers. You know what I mean? There was all artist supplies. It was like a hobbycraft, really.
And how long ago was that, Mats? How long ago was that?
I reckon the last of them. I reckon it was late 80s, mid 90s, and then all of a sudden it
30 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget. I think
so you had no other option.
Yeah, there was no online.
There is no.
But what I'm trying to get at is that even when we had no online, those models, the models were all available in the local newsagents.
Because there was no other option.
But then, but all we ever had there was enamel paints and decals. We didn't have flossing. We didn't have panel line. We didn't have. Michael said, Michael so we didn't have lacquer paints. We had spray
There
cans.
was no other option. There was no other option. You used to buy kits from the newsagents because people used to go and buy a newspaper. People don't buy newspapers anymore.
Yeah.
Or the vast majority don't buy newspapers anymore.
Media, or they're delivered.
Media for you, but the exception doesn't disprove the rule. Media is digital.
Yeah.
Speak to any editor of any national newspaper. It's digital. There will always be the exception to the rule, but it doesn't disprove the rule.
I mean, next week we could debate magazines. Because
we could do. Yeah.
Everything in that way. And the hobby has to embrace that. And it has to evolve and do that. Zinzan, you just built a Qatari Spitfire, or you built one last year, or whenever. Perhaps 30 years ago, that wouldn't have been available to you. Or not as easily available to you. Where did you get it from?
I bought it from Qatari themselves.
Direct from the manufacturer?
Yeah.
Nice.
You wouldn't have been able to do that 30 years ago.
No, I wouldn't. But the market has changed, as I said. When the market, and I'm agreeing with you. The market has changed. It's up to retailers to change with it if they wish.
But I don't think they can compete. That's their biggest. I think they would love to.
That's their challenge. That is their challenge.
But I don't think they can compete. You know, they can't, and that's the demise of the model shop, the high street, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. It's all the same. They cannot compete with the digital world.
If you are right, and you might be, then I will say you're right. There you go. You turned out to be correct. And you might very well be, as I say, you make the argument very well. There's no question about that. You know, I'm standing here in the corner, sort of pointing outwards and saying, "No, don't be nasty to me," you know. And it's not like that. It's not like that.
Yeah, there's respect there.
No,
it's all good.
You know, it's all good. But as I say, it's a look, it's a good discussion to have, and as I say, you make the argument really well. I think that if retailers want to have the business and they want to be a part of the business, then they have to modernize and they have to think about different ways of doing this. Every other business that's still around they're
relying a lot more now on local loyalty, aren't they?
Jeez, comes in late and causes problems. Jeez Louise.
Yeah. Hugh Gordon makes a good point. Online is just modern mail order, which is correct. You know, I was subscribed to Looking magazine when I was a kid, and
ditto.
Don't you dare say that. I'm not as old as you, Barry. So don't you dare say that.
I started from issue 1. Thank you very much.
So
I think
years ago, for those that don't know, Games Workshop or Warhammer Citadel, they produce a monthly magazine called White Dwarf. Now, years and years ago, in the back of White Dwarf was essentially a catalogue. That's the only way I could describe it. And it was mail order. So if you needed a particular weapon or a particular head for a space marine, you'd fill the slip in, post it off. They'd then send you an invoice, paper invoice. You would pay the cost via postal order or check to Games Workshop, and then they would send you that particular weapon or arm or head or whatever it was that you've ordered by mail order. I think the difference is now that would take weeks and weeks and weeks to organize that. The difference is now in the digital world, you can go online, you can pick the part you want, you can pay online, you don't have to wait for the invoice, you don't have to send a check. You don't have to do any of that. It's all automated. It's all digital. And depending on which courier you select or where in the world it's coming from, it can be with you by lunchtime the following day. There's the difference.
Yeah. Moons ago, when you paid mail order, they had a time scale. It's advertised as 28 days.
Yeah.
Now it's done within a week.
And people, the majority of people aren't willing to wait that long.
No.
Well, we had to back then.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Because
Like
there was
say,
no other option.
yeah, no, it's a couple of days. You pay for it online. If you're lucky, turns up next day.
Yeah.
You wait for your paycheck that long. I mean, when I entered the workforce in '85, you got paid once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all the same. It is all the same.
It's like I was looking on ResKit earlier because they've just released a cockpit set for the Airfix 48 scale Jaguar.
Mm.
And it's phenomenal. Now, many years ago, if I wanted to super detail a cockpit, I'd have probably scratch built bits and ordered certain bits and waited. I don't have to do that now. So yes, you lose the skill set, or the skill set will disappear. But I've ordered it, and it'll be here by Friday. So
interesting point. You sort of mentioned this ties in with the idea of magazines for another subject. Airfix magazine of old, conversion articles where you had to scratch build stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's all 3D printed. If you can find it. Sort of, downloaded articles. It's mostly for ships, like converting the Ajax into the Achilles and other county class vessels.
Achilles. It's just very much evolving, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's changing.
Yeah,
it is changing. The world
where it was scratch building stuff, now it's 3D printed stuff.
Mm.
It is just changing. It's just an evolution. So, for example, the new house that I just bought, I was trying to arrange internet for that house.
Mm.
Now, because the house is old and the infrastructure, because it's in the arse end of nowhere, the infrastructure that supplies the house, the internet speed was shocking. It was like going back into the 90s. And that was the fastest that they could produce because of the infrastructure.
Yeah.
So what did I do? I ordered Starlink. It makes no difference where I am. I will get the fastest speed in the UK everywhere, and it works flawlessly.
Yeah.
So the world is changing, and we're just a tiny part of it that are evolving with it.
Yeah. Right, folks, I'm just going to play model shows coming up this year. I've got a video here to play. So we've got 3 minutes. If you need to go for a bathroom break, you can do. We'll be back in about 3 minutes' time. Loads coming up this year. I will be at Cardiff. Luke will be at Bolton, I think. You're at Bolton this year, aren't
This
you, mate?
Sunday, mate. Yeah, this Sunday. Yeah.
Sunday. Yeah, Bolton's this Sunday. I would like to have gone to a Bolton, but then Cardiff, I said I'd go Cardiff first. I think Cardiff put theirs out first, but I think Bolton dictate when they do their model show with the football. Is that right? If I think that's what I've heard. So
all I know is that Bolton is normally first week. The first model show of the year, and it's normally the last weekend in January.
Yeah.
That's kind of there or thereabouts. Whether that's affected by football fixtures or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to the South Wales Modelers model show this Sunday. So if you're around, go and visit. If not, go and visit Luke at Bolton. Are you going, Ben, to Bolton or not?
No, I'm not going up to Bolton this time.
No. Mike, are you going to Bolton?
No, too far away.
Are you going to the South Wales Modelers one?
To get there from where I am in Wales, it'd take 4.5 hours each way.
That's crazy.
No, what is that?
Crazy. So being
doing that long to visit his neighbour,
it's just crazy.
I was going to say in Wales.
Yeah, but there's
You're
no
only an inch on
motorway
the map.
Wales, is there? And it's still 20 mile an hour now.
Oh yeah, 20 miles an
yeah.
hour. I forgot about that. That's incredible. I thought you would have been at Goodham for that one, Southwest Model Show.
Got to get done for speeding on a moped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to go
You
to.
can
I was
get from
meant to
Los
go to
Angeles to
Swansea.
Vegas in 4 hours.
I was meant to go to Swansea in 2019 for Veterans Award thing, and I went, nah, because they want me to go down for one afternoon to do an interview.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not doing that. 9-hour round trip just for an hour's interview.
Crumbs. I get the Telford and back. I
It's
get
the
the Telford.
digital age.
quick
We have
there.
Zoom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You're one of those big ones. Yeah, so that's the model show club. That was just a one-off. I will cut it down. We'll probably do like 4 months in advance for the next video. I just wanted to try it out. I think 3.5 minutes is too long, so I'll change that down a little bit. But those are the next ones coming up. I've not. If you have got a model show coming up, please feel free to send me a poster, and we'll put it in the. Every so often we'll do that little video for this. Anyway, that's the idea. So where were we? Oh, model shops.
Yeah,
We've done that debate again.
model shows.
we're all throwing our teddies on the pram.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's a. I think yeah, I get it. It's the world changes so quick, it really does, and not all for the better. I might.
No,
add.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think personally. I don't think that I don't like the direction of the digital world. I don't like it. I would love nothing more than my partner's lad, who's 10, to sit down at my bench and build a model
Right
with
on.
me.
Right
And
on.
we could build a model. He has about as much interest in doing that, because what he'd rather do is go and play on his iPad, or he'd rather play a video game, or he has no interest in putting together an Airfix starter kit. I would love him to do that. I would teach him how to airbrush. I would teach him the whole thing.
Yeah.
But he's just got no interest in it at all. And
I
don't like it, but unfortunately, that's the reality of the world that we have created and we continue to create.
I would like to know if anyone's done any collected any data on those who play World of Tanks to those who build the representations of those tanks in scale model form. I'd love to know the data, because if it's big, Airfix, Hella, Revell have all missed a trick.
Italieri did it, and I don't think it's improved the numbers, but there again, it is Italieri.
Yeah. Yeah.
You right there, Jim?
I'm having a fit. Here's the thing. It's an instant gratification world for this digital kid. They don't care about taking the time to build a tank. They want to go buy the tank already done so they can set it on their shelf. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
And then they want to move it around their screen and blow shit up. Yeah.
It's instant gratification. Now, I'm so old. Here we go.
We know, Jim.
Before young Benjamin was
And I'm
born,
right behind
he
Jim.
was born here. And back in the 90s, we
Yeah,
were
that
having
was before I was born.
the argument about getting kids into the hobby. Video games are going to kill the hobby. And to a certain extent, it keeps on playing out 30 years later. Yeah. It's just, it is what it is. You know, hobby trains are eventually, are we at the heyday of modeling now? Yeah, because the kids back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s now have the technology to make a lot of their things that were going around in their head, make it come true now. Okay. And it is the heyday. But it's like with anything, it's going to go out the window. Okay. And eventually, and there would be guys over here looking at me throwing beer cans at the screen right now going, how dare you, the hobby's dying. It's not just the hobby's dying. Everything's dying. Everything has a lifespan. Okay. This will eventually, along with everything else, you know, so the next video games will die out because it's going to be something else.
Yeah, Gordon, totally. Video killed the radio star.
Yeah.
Something will kill the video star.
Freaking profound.
That. It's just
like kids doing chores and washing up the dishes before their parents come home from work. It's gone. You're not cussing at them.
Yeah, it's just evolution.
Yeah. Cost, availability, and expectation of instant access all play a part. Is it worth considering that many high street shops now exist largely as showrooms for what people go home and order online anyway? Prime example, I'm a Brooks Taverner guy. I love Brooks Taverner stuff. I go to the shop, try on what I want, the shirts, look at the shirts, look at their new ranges, the trousers and everything else. I will then come home and order it off the Brooks Taverner website because I'm a card carrying member of them, and I get 10% off, free delivery next day. And I save money. But I still go to their shop in the high street, try it all on. Yeah. And the guy there, the jackets, with suits and things like that, your ties, try it all on. And the guy says, we'd like to pattern that. That's right. I'll come back and think about it. So he's pissed off. But I have told him recently, I did say, I'm a card, I'm part of your membership, mate. I'm going to buy this online. And he's joyed at that. He goes, yeah, fair enough. Just let them know, And actually, the other day, true story, no bullshit, tried a jacket on, fit lovely, came home, and couldn't find it on the website. They run out of sizes. I emailed them and said, I want this one here. They said, oh, we've got one in Exeter. We'll send it to you. And then a day later, they sent the one I tried on in Exeter. But because I'm a member of Brooks Taverner, I get all the discounts under the sun because I buy online. But I try everything on in their shop. So they get more money out of me.
I think that's a fair point. We did it at the weekend. We went into DFS so we could sit on the sofa, came home, ordered it online. Even the guy in the shop had an iPad that he was walking around the shop with. He said, do you like that sofa? I said, yeah, it's nice. He went, you probably get it quicker online.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what we did. So, I think that's a fair point. Yeah,
I went to Curry's once 6 years ago, found a fridge that we liked, and they said we can't deliver it for 3 weeks. Came home, let's go. They took the old one away from us for free as well. and it was £10 cheaper than the one in Curry's, and it was the updated one. So instead of it being like you pour in the water, you could plumb it straight in. But we went to AO and got it, and it was there within 2 days, and they fitted it for us.
isn't it tragic in a way? Although I accept that the world has gone digital, but I can remember when I was young, I can remember my grandmother, if she was going to cook an evening meal, she'd go to the butcher's for the meat, she'd go to the greengrocer for the vegetables, probably 3 or 4 different shops. Now people just click a button on their phone and it's delivered. Like, it's changed so much, and the high street is dead. There isn't a greengrocer there anymore. There isn't a butcher there anymore. So it's changed. Whether it's for the better, I don't know. I don't think it is, but it is the way it is now.
Our local butcher supplies all the main eating establishments around here as well. And that's how he opens up the shop. But we all do buy off him. We don't go to Aldi to buy our meat. We do go to the local butchers here, and he's reasonably priced. But he is massive. Or if you go to a restaurant around here, the meat has come from this butcher's, definitely.
Yeah, but again, the exception doesn't disprove the rule, does it?
It doesn't. Exactly right. Why is Jadland where they're at? Do you know what I mean? They've got a brilliant. Well, I always say it's brilliant because it does pee me off that you get your Jadland points, but the rules are quite strict on how you can use them. If I've got £20 worth of points, I expect to be able to buy a kit worth £20. No, you can only spend that £20 if you spend over £100. That's buy and buy. As I said, somebody put a post up saying, should I pre-order now or wait until the sale? Well, depends if you want the kit or not. All I'm going to tell you, pre-order from Airfix. It's RRP. If you want it a bit cheaper, go to Jadlab. If you want to go cheaper but add a bit of postage, Scale Model Shop. That's the difference. But for me, it's a no-brainer for me because I've got my hobby points, my flying hours. It all for me at the Airfix website. And I promise you this: if Revell did it, if Atalery did it, if Tamiya did it, I'll buy off them as well. That's the whole point of having the points. It's like, I was joking because my pre-order came to about £600 for this year's range launch. I'm a club member. I've already saved £60. You know what I mean? I've got a kit here. I've got my club
you can
membership.
buy another whole Vulcan for that price.
Yeah, exactly. I've saved a few quid being a club member. So, it is. So Games Workshop is a good example of hobby evolution. It will burst, that bubble, I think. I think that bubble will burst. Wasn't there a moan last month? Price rises again for Games Workshop.
Yeah, but what they are doing, which is quite clever, is they're absolutely moving into the digital space.
Yeah.
They're creating video games based on their IP. There's a Netflix series or Amazon Prime series coming based on their IP. So they are evolving. Will tabletop gaming be a thing in 30 years? Probably not. Not in the way we understand it now.
It'd probably be like the holographics in Star Wars where they're playing on the Millennium Falcon chest.
Possibly.
We don't even need that anymore because most of it's online now on sites like Roll20 because that's how I play.
Yeah.
But there is still a thing, isn't there? There is still a need, whether it's a human need or what, I don't know, but like a tangible.
Yeah, I was about to say,
thing.
It's the physical social interaction as well, isn't it?
That tangible, like World of Tanks, there are people, I would say they are absolutely in the minority, that maybe want a tangible thing for the tank they use in the game.
Yeah.
And whether they're actually going to construct that as a model kit that we understand, or like Jim said, they're going to go out and buy a die-cast version of it, but it's still a tangible, physical thing rather than pixels on a screen.
Yeah, and I think that will still play a big part because, like, for example, with me, so when I was younger, I used to do trains. I think we all did that at some point. And, like, recently, the big issue with me why I left that side of hobbies, they never did anything I remembered. It was always Steam. It was always something else that I never remembered. I had no attachment to. Now, recently, in Engage in particular, they've started releasing modern stuff, i.e. 20 years ago, to which I remember. And it's quite interesting just looking it up now, how many people, for example, I think there's Train Simulator and a whole load of digital things you can buy, which had all this in. But there's actually a lot of people now who are returning to the hobby of being older or whatever, going, I remember that as a kid, like, was it Network Southeast? I don't remember that. I wasn't alive when it happened, but that's a big thing from like the 80s and the 90s if you lived in the South. And like everyone is suddenly going, right, they're bringing all these models out. I'm going back to hobby because I want something tangible. And that's the thing, is that tangibility is not going to change. And that spans all the different hobbies, trains, plastics, RC, because let's be honest, racing simulators now are brilliant. They are like the real car. However, people still race RC cars because they want something tangible. And it's a different, slightly different experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have books. I hate e-readers. Can't stand the things.
Yeah, I can.
I don't know.
Yes, exactly what I said, Craig. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, else you are in a kick of the digital world, and here we are on a digital modelling club platform. Yeah, we are. That's true.
Right.
I don't think we're kicking it. I think that's a bit harsh. You know,
I think we're just trying to find that middle ground. Just don't buy off those bastards, TV. Yeah, Zinzan. Brooks, you don't. Oh, come on, Zinzan. You've got money. You surely know what Brooks Tavern is.
I'm as poor as a church mouse whose wife left with all the cheese.
Isn't it always people who've got lots of money that claim poverty?
Exactly.
No, I follow what my daughter says, and if she tells me that I'm too cool to go into such a place, then I don't go into it. And, so
isn't
it was
that famous quote about know your wealth,
dry shop, whatever it's called?
Hey? Like no, famous quote isn't about know your wealth but don't show your wealth. There's something.
The reason I've gone past the case of buy was it buy cheap, buy twice. I like books. I'm a big bulky bloke, right?
You're a fat ass.
Fit. It just fits, like and they do the best cravats as well. So they're definitely worth it for me.
You're amateurs. I'm clinically obese.
Yeah, and as an antiques dealer, you got to look the part, haven't you? Again, show your paw, but it's.
Isn't there something very and I include myself in this statement. There's something about it's almost that keeping up with the Joneses mentality.
Yes.
So where I'm moving to, and officially I'll be there all the time in 2 weeks, where it's quite an affluent area. So when I'm walking the bear around the village, everyone is dressed in like high-end country attire, walking their dogs. Right. So I have over the last 3 or 4 weeks probably been reorganizing my wardrobe and purchasing like country attire.
Can you imagine Luke in tweed with leather patches?
I was going to say Luke's in tweed to go, hello, my dear chap. How is your Labrador?
Yeah. Luke, right, years ago,
Luke and Beer Stalker.
I was walking on the hills of Dartmoor. I love Dartmoor. I grew up on Dartmoor. I spent my life on Dartmoor. And there's something really weird seeing Rick Mayo walk up to the tour, or walking down the tour actually, and wearing everything wax jacket. He looked odd because
have you never seen?
I think he was trying to look Devonian, but he was missing the point that we don't wear wax jackets on Dartmoor. You wear wax jackets at the, on the farm, not in the middle of a tour. You know what I mean? But he had the wax jacket material, hood, everything was wax jacket.
It's interesting you mention wax jackets because mine should be delivered tomorrow.
Moz, have you seen Five Eyes comment though, just quickly about something digital? It's further up.
Further up.
Where is it? Yeah. No, not that one. Slightly further up again. Probably about 2-3 minutes ago. It's something you're gonna love.
That one?
No, not that one. No, further up. Do you want me to just read it if you can't find it?
CCC.
There we go. Yeah, that's for you.
Yeah. Hey, that's it. No, as I say, if you go to, that's a good. I don't know, mate. We'll go. I was just quickly. Yeah, when I'll be honest with you. I was never into fashion until I met my ex-wife years ago, and she taught me the finesse of if you find a brand that see, I don't go to Primani. Firstly, the people in there smell. And secondly, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit.
Apologies to all patrons of Primark.
Primani. I'm joking. I've never found Primani very, very. It's not, and it doesn't last.
Do you want to use a C word? Do you want to use a C word?
What C word?
Chavvy.
Yeah.
I had to attend the hooks there.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, there was another C word I used.
I don't find their clothes, and also you wash it once or twice, it's either shrunk or it rips. It's crap. You know, it's like buying it off that Z website. What's it called again? Or Sheen. It's made in no. So I've got shirts that are 5 or 6 years old, and they look new as when I bought them. And that's because they're just it's quality material and it fits. That's why I like and if you find a brand like I love my G-Star Raw jeans, though they're getting harder to find now. I like my duck and cover stuff as well, but because it fits. But then I'm not a fan of Fred Perry, and I don't like what's the other brand? I can't remember what the other brand's called now. No, Hollister, not like them either. The one with the flag, Ralph Lauren. I don't like Ralph Lauren, the polo stuff. I don't think their shirts. They just feel constrictive on my shirt. But I'm a bulky bloke, so if you find a brand like that.
Hobby Time just said Big Dude Moss. I use them, and they have departments specifically for bigger body blokes and for taller blokes. Different
Who's
designs.
That? Sorry,
Big Dude.
Big
Dude.
Big Dude. Yeah,
they do pretty much everything on there.
I'm sure the people in Luke's new neighborhood are go to bigdude.com to get their.
So Eddie Bauer also does. I can even still wear a lot of stuff that Eddie Bauer sells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, I haven't been wearing Stone Island since I finished watching football like 2-3 years ago. I don't really want to.
Yeah, I've got
more of a North Face guy.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of Stone Island stuff. And when I went into the new local eatery, I was wearing a Stone Island sweatshirt. And I walked in there, and like the old westerns where you open the door.
Yeah.
The whole bar goes quiet because I got a Stone Island sweatshirt, and everyone's staring. It's like I'm pissed on the kids.
Big hat.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like if I walked there in my man at C&A shirt.
I just wear H&M and Marks and Spencers. I'm a simple man.
Jethro came to my wife's father's funeral because they used to go clean shooting together years ago. Yeah, he's a good man, very good man. What? See, somebody just put a question about Lego. We're not a Lego channel, but Celtic made a point. Where does Lego go in the future?
Under your feet.
They've just done this smart brick, haven't they? Which has caused complete uproar because it's now gonna. So I think somebody said it can make sound, it can vibrate, etc. And because half the internet is just dirty-minded, they just started claiming Lego was now had been destroyed forever in childhood.
Even if you look at Lego as a brand and as a business, so years and years ago, you used to be able to buy just a box of Lego,
right?
Didn't you? And you would, or the children playing with the Lego,
you
use their imagination to build something. Now you can't do that. You buy a Lego set that enables you to build something from Minecraft or something from
It's the same with Meccano, wouldn't it?
Whatever.
Yeah.
And Lego has absolutely moved across. There are video games now based in the Lego world. The character is a Lego man, and so on and so on. So they're trying to move, aren't they? They're trying to evolve. Is that for the best? Absolutely not. I'd much rather go and buy a box of Lego and use imagination to construct something, rather than go and buy a very expensive thing that I can only build one thing from.
Correct.
Yeah. I've got boxes of Lego, I think, stood upstairs from a child.
It's why we played with marbles and jacks as children. Right? Yeah.
See, I think, dare I say it, I think us scale modelers are very much like Lego, but we use a different technique where our imagination runs wild with the weathering and the way we decide on how we put schemes on. You know, with Lego, you get a job of bricks. You could build something that looks pretty much like it's come off Fortnite or whatever it's called. Not Fortnite. What's the other computer game? Minecraft. You know what I mean? Minecraft. Right?
Minecraft, as I called it yesterday.
What did you call it? Minecraft. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Freudian slip and a half, that one, isn't it? What is going on inside your mind?
People say,
wearing my Stone Island sweatshirt.
People say, oh, with Lego, you can be creative and build your own things. But we could be just as creative. Well, we are more creative because we've got this plastic in front of us. We could decide what the color of the seat is. We could decide how rusty it is. We could decide where there's a bullet hole to. We can even scratch build.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or if you like I said, people keep going about a certain model kit has very poor gearing underneath. It's crap. Okay, then what do? You think about it. You drill a hole in or add brass rods. Get rid of the bit in the middle and just put some brass rod in. It's all sorts we could do. We're just as creative.
It's like what Zinzan's currently building. The diorama.
Yeah.
Now, you may be using certain reference pictures and that sort of thing, but the actual finished thing is coming from your brain, isn't it? You're imagining what it should look like, and you're trying to recreate that in 3D. That's what you do.
Yeah, you make an excellent point, and I'm not using any reference pictures at all for the particular design. It's just I'm putting it on a board and thinking, right, frankly, where's the best place to put this? And should that man be wearing a Stone Island shirt? No, I'm not thinking that. I'm not thinking that. But no, it's straight out of imagination, and it's the challenge of it to some extent to see how it would go.
I feel this is going to be another debate topic of what hobby or what specific hobby, I don't know, trains, Lego, whatever, is the most creative. That could be a debate in itself.
To be honest,
don't get Jim on that one.
I think the most creative hobby going is cake making.
What?
I really do.
Left field, isn't it?
Sorry, is this you gently telling us that you watch the Great British Bake Off every Tuesday?
I didn't say that.
He doesn't say
that. Airfix and chilies on a Monday.
Yeah.
I think some of what people do with cakes, with the airbrush, everything, is amazing.
Oh,
and you can eat it.
Have you applied them for the new series, Moz? Are we going to expect?
I'm just taking the piss. I don't believe that at all. I think every single hobby has its merits. My only thing is the one thing I find with any hobby, whether you're restoring vintage cars, whether you're building scale model kits, whether you're knitting, whether the price is rocketing. The more you get into it, the more expensive it becomes.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I've seen it. These people who, people could knit. Before you know it, they've got this knitting machine that's cost them £2,500. You get people who sew and they want to make dresses. Before you know it, they're spending £2,500 on a machine. Yeah, that's how it goes.
We do. right?
Just think,
Exactly.
you can't. If you do these hobbies though, you can never be accused of having an addiction because you simply couldn't afford it.
Exactly.
Great British boss off.
Exactly. Yeah. As I said, it's good. Anyways, it's 10 o'clock. I think we've had a really good debate tonight. We started off, and as I said, it's open. I think I'm going to do this more often. I'm not going to pick a subject. I'm just going to put something out there and just let us flow with it. You know, and the best thing about it is, at the end of the day, you can have disagreements, and you can think, you know, there's always that middle ground to find, and I think there has been middle ground found tonight, which I'm quite happy with. Not that we've gone anywhere near politics or anything like that. So, but when we have these discussions, it's good that the chat's blown up tonight, that people have put in their thoughts on this stuff, and it's really good. I've tried to get as many of the comments up, but yeah, it's been a really good evening. As I said, Bolton on Sunday if you're north. If you're south or like sheep, it's the South Wales modelers thing. So we can meet there. If anybody's there, come and visit. Is it Y Pants School or something like that? I can't remember what it's called now. It's something like that. It's Y.
Just keep digging that hole, Moz. Just keep digging that hole.
Why? It's something like that. It's how you say it. I don't quite know that's how it is. 10 o'clock till 4 o'clock. Enjoy Bolton if you're going Bolton, and if you're coming to the South Wales Model show, I'll see you there with the ISCA Scale Model Club. If you want to come and join us and say hello, come and visit us. We'll be there. Thanks, John Alec. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Barry. Thanks, Zinni. Thanks, Mike. And thank you, Luke, for joining us today. And I will see you next Monday. Have a good rest of your week.